for a 30-second snippet in his video, how much do you think he was charging?
I'm gonna go for like, are we getting to the thousands?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus. Are we going into like 10,000, 20,000, 30,000?
Yes.
Jesus.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go like 35,000.
55k.
Jeez.
What's up, guys? Rich here. Thanks for tuning in to the TwoSix10 Podcast, where me and the boys talk about how you can use content the right way to grow and scale your business. If you find this episode useful, then please share with a fellow entrepreneur, marketer, founder, or anyone else who might also get some value from it, and let's all grow together. With that said, let's jump straight into it.
All right, so how frequently do you think businesses should be creating content?
All the time.
Yeah.
Every single day, every single hour. No, seriously, I think, we understand the importance of content, and I just feel like it needs to be very regular. We're not saying that it needs to be 7 days a week, but I'd say like 5 days a week for sure. You can easily do this by maybe planning. Like, planning is very important. I feel like a lot of businesses and brands don't plan well, and then it's more last minute. So, I mean, we've had like a few times where like there's been last minute content come through because it's just been made on the spot. So yeah, I would say like a content plan, content calendar, I guess you can say, is like the best thing to have for that. But it will help you stick to it, and then again, it helps with the consistency of creating and sharing the content. But I definitely think it needs to be very regular. That's what I'm saying from this. It can't just be like you do 3 days a week, expect it to blow up, and then like you come back a week later, you can't be bothered, and then you wait another week to make more content. So I would say that we have 7 days in the week. 5 of those days should be getting the content out there. In terms of actually creating it, you can spend a whole day creating the content and then obviously distributing it over the week. Or you could do on the day you record and share, but it'll be very tight in that sense of things if you do it in that way.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think a lot can be said. Like I've always been a firm believer in is create as much as you can without, as soon as, I think we love our sort of graphs today, but like, there's a line here, line going through here. In the middle here, you have like the quality. So post as much as you can for whatever that is for you. Some people that's one, right? One video.
Yes.
Some people that's 50. Like you look at, I don't know, Gary Vee, for example, like he's never really that proud of his, I wouldn't say that proud, but he never takes like his priority clearly isn't with like quality in terms of how it looks, but he's always delivering a good message. So I think that's one key thing to know here is like people just look at quality as like, oh, well, it's got to look good and be all that. It doesn't necessarily even have to be that. It can just have a really good message. Again, reference to Gary Vee, he's probably putting out 3-4 bits of content, maybe even 5 bits of content a day, every day.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't miss. So for him, the line's way higher, but for you, the bar might be, but either way, like you've got your quality here, and however many bits of content you can post, as soon as you cross over that line, stop, like go back and just, try to get more out in this side. But as soon as you go past the point of, this is just a bit of content, but it's not really that good, then just knock it in the head. I think that's how to determine it. But post as much as you can before you hit that.
Yes.
Before you hit that, barrier, I guess, and try to increase that as you go. And I think that's like a metric that I would use to gauge. A lot of people looking like the followers and stuff like that, and that's fine too. I'm not going to put people off of that, but I think like one of the metrics that you should use to gauge is like determine what you believe is quality content, and then post as much as you can or make as much as you can per week, and then go, okay, do that for like 2 weeks, determine your sort of like number, whether it's 3, 5, 10, 15, whatever it is, and then go, okay, in 6 months time, I want to be doing double that. I want to be, if I'm doing 3 now, quality bits of content, in 6 months time, I want to be doing 6 quality pieces of content a week. I can guarantee you will grow. I can guarantee you will get followers. I can guarantee you will make sales. I can guarantee you will hit your goals if you can continue to increase that output in terms of quality over the course of a week. And if you can do that like to a quality level, I think you're only going to grow. And then in a year's time, you say, going to double it again. I want to do 12 in a year's time. Then I want to be doing at least 20 pieces of content, quality content per week. Again, you're only going to, like, how can you not grow from that? I think the huge problem is people get that a bit mixed up and they go, okay, I just want to post as much as possible, but it's not quality content. So they're posting 10 bits of content and not even one of them is quality. So it's like, dial that all the way back. Just go for one for now, get quality, and then double it. And then when you can do that successfully and, you know, consistently, then double it again. And
I think
I feel really strong about that.
Yeah, I think as well, just to, obviously, you're a brand or business. I was going to say band. If you're a band as well, you can do this.
If you're a band, it works. I'm sure.
But yeah, I think like it's really important to monitor your competition, because I see a lot of similar brands and businesses, and one of them will be posting regularly, and they're getting the views, they're getting sales, they're getting what they need, and then there's someone that's creating one video a week, and they're not reaching anyone, and they're wondering what's going wrong. I feel like if you're posting constantly, you're getting content out there, like you're more likely to be noticed. Like it's like the saying, like a needle in a haystack. Like you can't be that needle. You need to be bigger than a needle in a haystack. So you need to get the content out there so you can just grow even more. But yeah, I mean, as well, if you struggle to find content to make or think of ideas, like outsource. Like we do it a lot. Like we come up with ideas, and you can find anyone to do that. You can like find a presenter, like to do the videos for you. Like like I said earlier, some people may have being camera shy, but they've got all the ideas and they just don't know how to get it out there. So bring in a presenter, have a script, give it to them, content galore right there. But yeah, like consider outsourcing if that's the case.
Yeah, so I guess then what you're saying is, like, we're sitting here saying for people to post, but maybe they do have like roadblocks in place, i.e. they might only have like 3 employees, 4 employees, whatever. And
very much
their time is like hugely invested into just growing the business. And of course, organic content, paid content, whatever the case is, we'll do that for you. But maybe there's other pressing things. And what you're saying is then, you know, that's a potential roadblock. They might be camera shy. I don't know, like we've seen time is like a huge constraint as well for people. Like they just don't have the time because they're obviously trying to run a business or build their personal brand, and they don't have time to sit down in front of the camera, you know, for 3 hours every week, or sit down and come up with ideas.
And like just to butt in here is like as well, you get some people that don't understand social media still. That's not an issue, but again, like it helps to outsource, because as well, like I'm not trying not to sound ageist or anything, but like my parents, they don't understand anything to do with like trends and social media side of things. And if they was to start like an online business, for example, it'd be terrible at getting content out there. Like they wouldn't know where to start. But if they used like their heads a bit and was like, right, we don't know anything about like social media, why don't we outsource this person that is like advertising as like a social media manager, I guess, maybe in that side of things. They'll understand the trends. They could probably make, like, we'll just say like, here's the budget, we can pay you this, we want 5 videos a week from you, this is our business, make it trendy. Like that's the way that you can outsource as well. So if you feel like that there's a roadblock in terms of, well, I'm like a bit old, I don't really like understand the trends as much, maybe if I get like a youngster in that is trendy, then they can help me get my business out there.
100%. That said though, I'd be very annoyed if your parents started an online business, started making content, and then got this person and not us. Like, what's that about, Scott? Come.
Yeah, I know. I'd have to have a word.
Yeah, you would. I would have to have a word. I think we all would. But yeah, so I mean, these are all great points. And in terms of like outsourcing and stuff, like there's so many, you know, great sites out there, so many great people out there. You know, we can vouch for a lot. And yeah, I think people are very protective though. I think that's another potential roadblock. I don't want to outsource because maybe they've not got a budget, say, for example.
Yeah.
And I would never, ever, 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 and I can't say that enough, ever, with capital EVER, promote like free work and stuff. But like, it, you know, you might have, say, a nephew, for example, who's young, who wants to just do some stuff and have some stuff in his CV. You might not necessarily have to pay him all that much. You know, you might even do it for free if you have a good relationship, or you know, you can give him something else. I don't know. Again, I'm not condoning free work, but I just think there is also ways around it, and think about that. And you know, the key there is something that we always say is communication. Like, and I get people are like protective over it, and you know, they're very anal about it, and especially businesses. You know, like there's a lot of there's a lot of potential, not even hurdles is the wrong word, but there's a lot of like things that you've got to be extremely careful with, especially when you start outsourcing everything, like having just, you know, a face of a brand and things, and you've got to make sure that the person that you're outsourcing to understands the legalities of what you're doing, because if they go and say something stupid online, you can effectively fuck your business. You're going to get sued. So there is that as well, and you've got to be aware of that. But again, communication, you know, build a doc, say what you can and can't say, say what you know, you can do and can't do, and then make sure and review that work before it goes online, and take responsibility for it. I've seen so many people just like getting absolutely burned by some clients in the past where they've done something wrong on social media. Feel like we're going off track here, but a friend of a friend one time, he was running paid ads for a company, and you know, of course, like your whole goal running paid ads is to bring in sales, to bring in revenue, right? And he did that, and they couldn't cope because it was like nothing they'd ever seen before, and they couldn't fulfill orders. People were complaining, ended up suing them, and they ended up suing the guy that was running the paid ads. And I was like what? Like, it's mental. So they hired the guy to run paid ads to get more sales. He got more sales and more because that was what he was good at. And then they were like, "You fucked our business. Like, you've literally put us under because we can't fulfill. This is not what we expected." It's like, what did you expect? So what did you want me to do? A shit job?
Yeah. So would that be like to do the like inconsistent branding then when they're like doing these kind of things? Because they're putting like mistrust into customers, and then obviously building up a bad reputation to the brand.
I mean, maybe, or just maybe they were just like, they had a really good product and they were just terrible at paid ads before, and this guy was, even if he was semi-decent, he's going to get results, right? But my point here was more, you know, when you're outsourcing, like, you still can't just, like, don't get me wrong, we love it when, you know, clients just put our whole trust in us because it shows that we're doing a good job, but we still pride ourselves in communication. We've got them in every platform. We talk to them regularly, and we have, you know, regular updates and communication. If a client was just completely off the grid and expecting us to do everything for them, and then as soon as something goes wrong, they're blaming us, like, that's not good. And, you know, like, that would be like us to the team, like expecting them to do everything, us not communicating, and then when they don't do it / something goes wrong, we're like, you know, blaming them. Like, you've always got to look at yourself first. And I think that's the biggest thing I see with outsourcing. People are just like either too hands-on, too anal, but they've got to be willing to let go, or then they just don't care, and it's like, do everything, and then as soon as something goes wrong, it's like, you know, shoot the messenger type thing. Which I don't agree with either one.
And I think there needs to be a balance in there with that, like what you're saying. We need something in the middle, in a sense, like when you're outsourcing. Like, if someone outsources us, we like expect the communication to be there, because we need that back and forth to make this work. Like you said, if someone comes to us and was like, okay, this is what I want, get me the results, and it's like, okay, but what about like your branding? What about like the information you want to get out there? What kind of audience you want? Well, that's all up to you. Like, you just know, like get with the program here. Right, there needs to be a balance, and don't be afraid to be anal about things. Like, be anal, but to an extent. Like, don't be like, oh no, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Like, we know what we're doing, but we just need the collaboration to then make this work.
Yeah, for sure. You need some input, of course. It's just like anything, you know. It's like, if you wanted to someone come in and start your washing machine, right? Like, you would probably tell them over the phone what is wrong with your washing machine, / you would tell them what has happened. Or like, if you went to the doctors, you don't just go to the doctors and say, "Hey doc, fix me." Like, he's going to want to know what's wrong with you. Or like, say, you know, it is the same thing here. It's like, you know, communicate your goals, communicate what you're trying to achieve, and try to be helpful, work together with the person that you're outsourcing. And I think, you know, if businesses work out, whether they do it themselves or not, I think we've gone on to the outsourcing thing at this point, so we might as well continue with it. if they do decide to outsource, I think that is how you can best streamline your content. And to be honest with you, like from my experience, I think that is how you can best streamline your content anyway. If I'm honest, like, we're talking about creating content regularly and stuff like that. I think that's how you can best do it, is outsourcing, because we all know that things happen in business. Like, we've seen it with ourselves, and it's only taken to now for us to get consistent, because before it, we didn't really have the things in place to cover when because stuff's going to go wrong, right? It's always going to happen. Like even us, the other day, my Wi-Fi cut when, we were going to shoot this podcast the other day, and we've had to then postpone it to now. And if you're like a single guy, like a single person, a single woman or single, and you're reliant on doing all of these things yourself, and something goes wrong, there is more, I guess, like would be higher up in the priority list than content creation. You're just going to put it off. And then the next day you wake up, you're going to put it off. And then that's when you just fall into a hole of like, well, I've not posted in 3 weeks, and, whatever, like no one's really missing me anyway, so probably just leave it. And then in 6 months' time, you're like, I want to start it up again. It's just like a never-ending revolving door. So I think, outsource, cycle. Get someone that you can rely on and communicate regularly with them, and just understand that you're going to commit 1 hour a week to making sure that everything's all good, and you're going to get results, definitely.
Yeah. Just to touch on this, what's your thoughts on like collaborations? So like collaborating with an influencer, for example. Obviously a lot of like clothing brands and like makeup brands, things like that, they always collab with social media influencers. What would your thoughts be on like an established business or something like that reaching out to like an influencer, or just not just an influencer, content creators, anything like that?
Yeah, I think it always works. I think it goes back to the back of Beyond, I guess. Like, you're not seeing the owner of Adidas running around making TikTok videos of his boots. He'll just simply give Lionel Messi a contract and say, wear these. It's like, it's the same in this space. Like, if you've got a product or something, and you mentioned it before, if you're shy on camera, or if you don't have the time or whatever, okay, just find people within your niche, or find people who could sell your product, send them your product, get them to make a video, and then you post it. And we can do that.
Yes.
Time and time and time and over and over and over again, and you're not making the content, and that's another way to win, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I think it's quite
any negative to that.
Yeah, because I think it's quite a good idea. I've seen like a podcast before where they completely rinse the idea of collaborating with influencers and things. Like, why are you like putting all that negative energy into that? Like, it's so important. I mean, I don't know about you, because you used to do vlogs and stuff. I used to do TikToks. I'm not a massive TikToker, just to make this clear. I just got like good views on videos every now and then. And this football shirt company reached out to me, and like they had like maybe 200,000 followers. Really cool. Like, obviously I'm a football fan. It was really cool to me. And they reached out because they could see that I was getting engagement. I was getting comments. I was getting likes. People were sharing my videos. People were watching my videos, most importantly. So yeah, they reached out to me. They're like, hey, like, we're going to send you a free, it was like a mystery box thing. We're going to send you a free mystery box each month. You get to keep it. All you need to do is just obviously like do a couple of like ad videos. So one would be like me unboxing it. One would be like me wearing it and being like where I got it from. And then one would be like doing like a sketch with it on, and then like putting a comment to their like link or something like that. And I just think that's so clever to do things like that, because you're just reaching out to low key influencers. Like, I'm not an influencer, but they reached out to me. So yeah, that could be a good way to go if you're like a startup business. Because I know as soon as like people hear, oh, collaborating with influencers and that, like you don't have to think of like all these top stars. Like, there's always up and coming like TikTokers, Instagrammers, YouTubers that have got, all right, they might not have like the millions of followers and that, but they might have 200,000 followers, or not even that, even like 10,000, 20,000, but they're getting regular views, and it's a way just to pass on your like brand or business. Some other people realize who you are, they come to your page, you've got a few more customers or followers. So yeah, I think it's an important key with collaborating.
Yeah, one single thing I would say there is it's not cheap. Like if you're reaching out to
No.
low key, like you say, local people, fine. You know, but I think I've got first hand of this. When I was at Wise, we reached out to some, because their whole thing is like the card, right? And you can spend abroad, you know, like a local. In effect, you're not going to get huge fees and stuff like that. Little subtle plug there for Wise. But yeah, when I worked there, like we were like, okay, great, let's reach out to some like travel influencers, and we sort of like just sent emails to loads, and the big boys, without saying any names, are not cheap to, and this is a household name. Everyone listen to this maybe not a household name, it's an exaggeration, but most people listen to this podcast would have at least seen one video from this guy. And for a 30-second snippet in his video, how much do you think he was charging?
I'm gonna go for like, are we getting to the thousands?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus. Are we going into like 10,000, 20,000, 30,000?
Yes.
Jesus.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go like 35,000.
55k.
Jeez. What?
£55,000, bro. I'm not even joking you. Like, it is absolutely insane. When I saw
Blows
that,
my mind.
it was, I don't know, should I say his name? No, I can't say his name. That's just stupid. But yeah, like I say, you would definitely have seen a video from him. And that's how much he was charging for 30-second snippet in the middle of his video, not even like at the start or anything. And like he's like top level,
Damn.
right? Like top level.
Yeah.
And that's how much he was charging. And then you've got like other people who are, you know, I was looking at, and you know, I don't want to shit on anyone, but it's just like, really, you're charging that much? And we're talking like 3,000-4,000 quid to advertise it. And you know, they were willing to make a whole video about it, fine. But even then, you know, they're talking, I don't know, like 1,500, 2,000 followers, something like that on YouTube. I mean, they had a regular audience, whatever, but they're like, yeah, give us $3,500-4 grand, whatever, and we'll make a full video about the thing. And it's just wild. Like, it's a whole different thing. So what I would say there is like, just be very, it's not going to be as easy as you think that, like, it's going to cost you. And people have really cottoned on to the fact of that now. But it's definitely doable if you can find the right people. If you've got a good product as well, like, then, you know, sometimes maybe just sending your product might be good enough, for example.